name a wetland. That's true. But where they are located is not a wetland. And if you want
but there was filling.
No. In fact, there was excavation. Those of you who have passed there recently, you know, we had a problem of there, which was causing uproar. The people in Busega were about to protest that there is a mountain coming up, which is about to close a road. So they were excavating actually soil to build an underground part of the factory. So it is not true that the Mandela Mirrors is in a wetland. But as coming back to your question, it is true there are many factories in wetlands. Namave is one example. Yes. So in the past, industrial parks were established in wetlands. Why? Because that's the easiest land the government could get to give investors. But since 2021, the president issued a directive. No new factories.
Okay. But by law, are these factories legally?
Yes. They were allocated there by government. They went through due process.
Which statute then?
The National Environment Act, the Uganda Investment Authority Act. Nema, for example, was gazetted as an industrial park. Titles were issued. Government issued lease titles owned by UIA to investors. So they are there.
Because it sounds now that the only lawful person that can encroach the wetland is government. That is how you're sounding. But other individuals, no.
No, but we have people who are also using their wetlands legally. We've just talked about Starbucks is not government. The Starbucks we were discussing is not government. We have several other people who are not necessarily government.
Speak Resort Munyonyo. Part of it is a wetland.
Speak Resort Munyonyo is a lake shore. Lake shores are allowed to be developed for recreation. In fact, recreation resorts, marinas are meant to be in lake shore. But to do so, you must have conducted an environment and social impact assessment, and you must be.
I submit of a contradiction here.
No, I don't think. I think it's a lack of information, probably on your part, Mr. Moderator. This is how the law works. The law cannot say don't, or when it does don't, it provides. It gives a proviso, the exception, and that is the exception that the government or an authority, for example, KCCA, can go to Nema and applies for the gazettement of land. Could be wetland, could be lakeshore, could be whatever. And says, for example, where you have been having a school, KCCA can go to National Environment Authority, Ministry of Lands, Physical Planning, and says, we are applying to remove the school in order to put a business center.
Sugarcane.
That's allowed in law. And I think that's what the government of Uganda did in the case of Namave, in Namave for industrial park. Because remember, that was the time when we were so thirsty as a country
for industries.
That we want industries.
Yeah.
Private people, you remember, were already given away land being owned by the Ugandan. If the Ugandan is asking for 1 billion or half an acre of land in Mulanda, I think at that time the government thought it was better.
And these double standards. You say
if it is in the law, it can't be double standard. It would be double standard. If it is not in the law, it is not in policy. But if the law allows the government to allow anybody else to apply for land use change, that's perfect in the law.
I want to get back to Joseph. Except if
you say that there are factories sanctioned by government without changing land use and without following the due process of Nema, of UIA, and other places.